Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Mystic Primrose podcast. I know it was meant to come out last week, and I know a few of you guys have been chasing up on me, when is the next episode coming out? It is coming out now. Here it is. I apologise if I sound ill/tired or anything like that. I have just had my cat Theo rubbing his face all over mine, so I didn't realise I was allergic to cats. Well, I did, but I let him do it for too long, so now my face is swollen up. But anyway, who cares? I have my coffee and a runny nose now, so let's just dive straight into the podcast. Today's episode is going to be all about how to craft your own spells, how to know whether you're doing it right or wrong, and pretty much a spell crafting 101, because I know a lot of you guys worry about whether you're actually doing it right or how to create your own spell, where to start, and how to ensure that you're doing it right. So let's get on with the podcast and dive straight in. Oh my gosh, this cat has killed me off. Okay, so a fundamental part of witchcraft is casting spells and focusing on your intentions to manifest your wants and your desires. And I know you can see, say, like on Witch Talk, on Instagram, on basically all online, that you can either have really, really simple spells, or you can have these big, extravagant, fancy spells that are a little bit daunting and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could ever do that. At the end of the day, if you're a beginner witch or you've been doing witchcraft for a while, I'm hoping that this episode will be useful. And yeah, let's get into it, because at the minute I feel like I'm rambling. So I'll start on my first point. Setting your intentions. The first step, let's say, to creating your spell is knowing what you want your spell to be for, right? So this could be anything from, I don't know, shooting off the top of my head here, manifesting X amount of money. It could be manifesting a particular situation in your life, or it could be going somewhere, getting a dream house. I know that all of that is very materialistic. It could be something as like being happy, more confident in yourself. It could even be helping your family to be more happy and loved within themselves. It could honestly be anything. If you want it, I'm pretty sure you could manifest it. Okay, so setting your intentions, it is so much easier to be specific. So it could be, I specifically want to manifest, let's say, $100, and I want to manifest it by getting a check through the post. Okay, so the more specific you are, the better and stronger your intentions tend to be, because you only have one specific thing to focus on. You're more than welcome to say, like, want to manifest, say, $1,000, but you don't really mind how it comes in. So I guess that's a slightly broader intention. So you're not wanting it to come in a specific way, but at the same time, an extra $1,000 would be nice. You could do it with intentions that you want the $1,000 for this particular thing. So it could be a vet bill, it could be for your rent. Just make sure your intentions are crystal clear and you know exactly what you're focusing on, because if it's a little bit wishy-washy here and there, spells tend not to do as well, because you're not obviously focusing, you don't exactly know what you want, so you're giving out mixed messages to the universe, and the universe is like, I hear you, but I still don't really know what you want. So take some time concentrating on your intentions. You could take as long as you want. It could take you 30 seconds because you already know what you want. But if you're not too sure, you could take some time just journaling and concentrating on what you want and writing down everything, and then coming up with like a sentence, let's say, of what you want to manifest. So it could be, I want to manifest $1,000 via this stream of income, and I want to be able to use it for this. Nothing overly complicated, and make sure it's straightforward and to the point. And if you're unsure, you could literally just write it down on a piece of paper, so when you are starting your spell work, you do have that manifestation note right in front of you, so you don't have to think too much about, wait, what did I want to manifest again? What was the sentence? Just write it down and have it there in front of you. Okay, so choosing the right spell. I guess you're not going to do a love spell if you're wanting to manifest money, right? But then again, if you're wanting to manifest happiness, maybe something along the lines of a self-love spell will work. At the end of the day, it's all about your intentions and the tools that you use to manifest those intentions. So if you're doing a happiness spell, you're going to use correspondences that relate to happiness. You're not going to pick something that relates to banishment unless you want to banish negativity in order to make you happy. If that makes sense. There's loads of ways you can go about it. As long as your tools and your tools match your intentions, then you'll be fine. So let's say if you're wanting to do a manifest, let's say, happiness or self-love, I personally would choose a spell jar, because spell jars are things that you can carry with you. You can use it as a constant reminder. Anything along those lines where you feel like you need a constant reminder in order to help the spell take place. So self-love, banish negativity, you'd create a spell jar with relating ingredients, and then you'd carry that spell jar with you, because let's be honest, it would probably be a lot easier than if you to do a candle spell, which you can't really carry a candle around with you. I mean, you could, but it's probably not the best idea and you might get some funny looks. So spell jars are very inconspicuous. No one has to know that you have a spell jar in your bag. Like some of the ones that I make for the store, they are very easy to carry around. They're very discreet. They're not overly big. It's not like you're carrying a big massive mason jar with you. Jesus Christ. Put my words back in. I can't speak today, guys. Oh, I need another coffee. Jeez. So first off, decide what type of spell you want to use. So if your candle magic could be good if you're planning on doing a ritualistic spell where you do it every so many days, or you do it every day at this time for a number of days, because then it becomes more of a ritualistic thing. And I guess that everything could work for everything, let's be honest. So say if you're wanting to manifest money, you could use a spell jar, but at the same time you could use candles, or you could do a herbal tea blend that you have every single morning, and it includes ingredients that relate to finances and good luck and abundance and money and things like that. So first of all, you've got your intention set. Next, you've decided whether you want to use spell jars, you want to use candles, you want to use herbs, blah, 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 blah. Another good thing to note is if you are wanting to use candles, it is advised to allow the candle to burn fully all in one go. I know sometimes that's not possible, especially if you pick big, massive candles. Maybe picking a slightly smaller one would work, but if you do need to stop it out and then start again, literally just lick your fingers and do it that way, because it kind of puts pause on the spell instead of it being a harsh blow that extinguishes the fire. However, if you're wanting to, let's say, manifest money, but you're only wanting to manifest a small amount of money, you could use a smaller candle, like a tea light or a birthday candle, because then it doesn't require as much effort. Or if you're wanting to manifest, I don't know, £100,000, and you want it to help you buy your dream house or something like that, you would probably use a lot bigger candle, as that holds more energy and more power, and you can do it for longer. I'm not saying get a massive spell. Why do I keep saying spell? Get a massive candle and sit there for the 40 odd hours that it takes to burn fully. That would be so draining, and I don't even think I could do that. But you could get a bigger spell, a bigger candle, and burn it for X amount of hours every evening, and then like lick your fingers and extinguish it that way, and then do the same again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and you just keep going on and on with that. Okay, now that you've decided what you're going to use, or what kind of spell you're going to use, is the next thing is timing. So in the grand scheme of things, if I'm going to do a spell, I tend to, if it's not like a very important one and it's just like a little light-hearted one, I'll do it whenever and however. But if it's something slightly more bigger and needs more energy and things, I will pick a particular time of day, particular day of week, or a moon phase. So like different days of the week, different times, and different moon phases all have different correspondences to one another. So for example, new moons are a time for setting intentions, new beginnings, and planting seeds for the future. So spells related to starting a project, personal growth, or initiating changes are suitable. Let's go with a full moon. Full moon is the peak time for lunar energy and is ideal for spells of manifestation, divination, and heightened psychic abilities. It is times where to bring projects into fruition and perform powerful rituals and charge items like crystals and amulets. At the same time, there's no written rules about witchcraft. You can do it however you want. So if something suits you better than something else, then do that. Don't worry about it too much. As long as it works for you, that's all that matters. But if you're wanting to do it on a particular day, a particular moon phase, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, so days of the week. Each day of the week is associated with specific planetary and elemental energies. Timing your spells to align with the properties of the day can enhance its effectiveness. It's not you don't necessarily have to do it on certain days. It's entirely up to you again. So Monday is associated with the moon and is suitable for spells related to emotions, psychic abilities, and dreams. Tuesday is associated with Mars and is ideal for spells of courage, protection, and strength. Wednesday is linked to Mercury and is excellent for communication, divination, and learning new spells. So it's like a learning period. Thursday is associated with Jupiter and is beneficial for spells focused on abundance, luck, and expansion. Friday is associated with Venus and is perfect for love spells, beauty spells, and harmony. Saturday is Saturn and is useful for spells involving discipline, protection, and overcoming obstacles. And finally, Sunday is associated with the Sun and is ideal for spells related to success, confidence, and personal power. So let's say if you're doing a really, really big money spell, and so the best days for that would either be a Sunday or a Thursday, and then you could also pair that with a particular moon phase. So that would be, let's say, a full moon, or it could be a waxing moon. It's entirely up to you. But then again, if you don't really want to wait till the next full moon on a Wednesday, because that might take a while, you could always do it straight away, or you could just do it on a Thursday. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you could wait for a particular Sabbath. It's entirely up to you on whether you're prepared to wait or not. Me, normally, I'm not. So I'd rather just get on with it straight away. Okay, speaking of which, seasons and Sabbats. You can often use spell work to align with the wheel of the year, celebrating the seasons and the 8 different Sabbats. Each Sabbat has its own theme and correspondence, making it a particular good time for rituals and spells related to those themes. For example, Beltane is a time for fertility and love spells, whereas Samhain is associated with ancestral work and divination. So it's entirely up to you on what spell timing you want to go with. You can also use different astrological timings and events to utilize energies for specific planets and signs for the spells. For example, you might perform a money spell when Venus is in Taurus, as Taurus is associated with material wealth. It can be as complex or as simple as you make it, because I know the more I talk and the more I read everything out, you're probably going to be like, oh, but now it's just getting complicated. Do I need to do it this time, at this time, or what? Honestly, you can if you want, but you don't have to. I normally don't, I'll be honest, because personally, I don't know an awful lot about astrology. I am doing my best to learn as much as I can, as quickly as I can, because I've got quite a few people asking me different things. But I have so much going on. I'm trying to find a spare 5 minutes to look up the planets and their significance. So it is entirely up to you. I would maybe, as a beginner, if you're a beginner, to start off slowly and to not think too much into it, to just do it as and when, or you could pick either a moon phase or a day of the week, as they're quite easy to find out what day of the week it is. Well, for some, I tend to forget what day of the week it is sometimes. Or a moon phase, literally just look up at the sky, or if you're unsure, just Google it. But when it comes to astrological timing, it will take a little bit more research. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. Just go with your gut and what you think is right. While timing considerations can enhance the power of your spells, the most important element, like I said, is your intuition, belief, and focus on drawing spells. Personal intuition and connection to the energies involved are the key to successful spellcasting. Like I said, if your intentions aren't there and you're not focused, if you're too busy focusing on, I don't know, what your family's doing downstairs rather than your intentions, you're not going to be in the right frame of mind. Experiment with different timings, see what works best for you and your specific goals. Okay, next thing is tools and materials. Different spells involve different tools and materials such as candles, herbs, crystals, oils, incense, symbols. The list goes on and on and on. Each of these have their own magical correspondences and they can help enhance the power of your spell. So let's say if you've been stressed and you want to de-stress over the next few days, you can pick herbs, crystals, oils, incense, and all that sort of stuff that relate to de-stressing and calming situations. So you could use lavender, you could use chamomile, you could use amethyst, you could use a blue candle. It's entirely up to you. If you're unsure, what I would suggest doing is go through your kitchen cupboards, have a look at all the different herbs and stuff that you've got, or look at what different crystals you have, or what materials you have at your disposal. You can then go on Google, look up each individual item that you have, and then find out its correspondences. So rosemary, if it's in your kitchen, it is a very good universal herb. It can be used for gosh knows how many different things. So if you just make the list of all the things that you have and then write down the correspondences to those things, you can then figure out what you can use in each spell and put it all together. So I personally wouldn't say you have to go out and get brand new everything for every single spell. if your spell is slightly more, I don't know, you need a little bit more energy for it, I would then maybe get a few things that are specifically tailored for that spell. But if you already have them in your kitchen cupboard, or if you already have them, there's no point in going out and buying more, because that's just a waste, and we don't like wasting things. So you might as well utilize what you have. However, if you want to go get a cauldron, or if you want to go get a new fresh batch of incense or a new candle, honestly, go for it. I'm not going to say no. I'm a big preacher of witchcraft, and we all want as many crystals and cauldrons and witchy bits as possible. So if you can, and it's reasonable, and you can afford it, why not? But okay, next thing is cleansing and preparation for your spell. I would personally smoke cleanse all of my ingredients and things that I'm going to use for each individual that I'm going to use for that spell. So if I'm using a cauldron, I will give it a quick incense cleanse. Same with crystals, or you could charge your crystals under the full moon or under the moon the night before. And just to give everything like a fresh, clean base. So there's no like lingering intentions on it or any negative energies or anything like that. Making sure everything's clean and ready to go before you start. You can use different things such as salt to also cleanse it, but if you're using crystals or anything that salt might be a bit iffy with, I'd just be careful, because the last thing you want is to put a selenite stick in a bowl of salty water. You will come back and the selenite stick will not be there, because it will have dissolved in the water, and then you'll be like, oh, what am I meant to use now? Okay, so just make sure whatever you're cleansing with, it is safe to do so. Maybe use, the best bet would be incense, but then again, if you're at college or at uni, let's be honest, I always burnt incense at uni. I never got in trouble for it. But if you're unsure, literally just put everything out under the full moon the night before and you'll be fine. Okay, next thing is you getting ready for your spell. First off, you need to be in the right frame of mind. Let's be honest. If you're here trying to get your ex back and you're here bawling your eyes out and you're angry and all this sort of stuff, you're not setting yourself up for a nice and easy spell. You're more than likely going to set yourself up for things going wrong. So make sure you're in a good headspace beforehand, a nice calm and neutral headspace. You could do some meditating beforehand. You could do a ritualistic shower / cleansing shower beforehand. I spoke about this in one of my previous podcasts. So the first or the second one. There's only been 2 episodes. It's one of the 2. You can then get yourself in a good headspace, ready for your spell. Get everything prepared and set up in an area of your home that you're not going to be disturbed. You could do it outside if you wanted to. I have done maybe a handful of spells outside, but I'm always too self-conscious about someone's going to walk by and be like, what's this weirdo doing? So I tend to just do it from the comfort of my own home, so I don't have to have that thing, so I don't have to worry about that while I'm doing my spell. Next, you could cast a circle of protection. Loads of people ask me this. Personally, I'm always too lazy to cast a circle with everyday simple spells, because it's just more effort and I just want to get down to the manifesting part. So casting a circle, I will do another episode on this because it's a bit of a lengthy process, but essentially casting a circle is a circle of protection that you will do your spell inside, so no other negative energies or anything can come and interrupt you. Like I said, I'm a bit lazy with it. I have maybe done a handful of circles in my lifetime. I should probably do more, but I've never had an issue with it, unless it's something like if you're hexing someone. Strongly recommend not doing so because karma's a bitch. Anyway, if you plan on doing that, I would definitely cast a circle just for your own protection. In case anything bad happens, you've got that safety net. Next off is visualization and your intention. So concentrate on your intention, know what you want, and at the end of the day, visualization is a crucial part of your spellcasting. You need to clearly see and feel the outcome you desire. So if you're wanting to manifest a car, visualize what it would be like to have that car in your life, what it would be like to sit behind the steering wheel, to drive it, what it feels like, how it makes you feel, all those things, as this will help you to focus on your intention and your energies. Okay, next one is chanting and incantations. The spoken or chanted words in a spell can often be called incantations. They can help to raise and direct energy. This can be rhyming, symbolic, or personally written to match your intentions. You can say them out loud or you can say them in your head. I always say it inside my head. I don't think I've ever said it out loud. Maybe a couple, unless I'm speaking to the universe, then I will say it. I feel like there's a part of me that always feels a little bit silly when it comes to speaking incantations or chanting, because it's like, this just makes it feel a little bit gimmicky. So I tend to say it inside my head or I write it down instead. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could literally just be what you want to manifest, when you want it, and how you want it. You can raise the energy of your spell work, and this could be done through meditation, drumming, dancing, and other methods that resonate with you. As you can tell, witchcraft is very much down to your own personal interpretation. So if something doesn't feel right for you, you don't have to do it. You can do whatever you want that feels right for you, because at the end of the day, it's about your intentions. And if you're too busy worried about how you look, if you're going to dance around your thing, dance around your spell, then you're not going to be paying, it's just not going to work. So if you feel like meditating instead, which is what I normally do, is I'll have my little spell going in front of me and I'll take some time to really focus on my intentions and just meditate and sit with it. That's personally how I find the best way, as I find it a lot less daunting and it's the most peaceful way of spell work. The next part, I bet you're like, I have all these ingredients, but how do I put them all together? Honestly, do not worry about it. I can't stress this enough. If you want to do a candle spell and you're getting the intuition and you're getting the sense of you're wanting to roll your candle in herbs, roll the candle in herbs. Or if you're wanting to make a little circle of herbs and then put the candle in the middle, do that. Just honestly follow your gut and play around with it. Don't worry about it too much. If you start doing something and then you're like, you know what, actually I want to do this instead, go for it. There's no written rules, and if you're busy doing your spell and then next minute someone knocks on your door, go and answer the door, it's fine, but just come back and reground yourself and focus on your intentions. I feel like people spend too much time fixating on getting it wrong, stressing over it, and that's what's more damaging to your spell work. If you just go with the flow and go with your gut instinct, you're going to be fine. But if you start stressing over everything, it's going to give the wrong ideas, the wrong vibrations, and you're all going to be panicking, and then everything's going to go wrong. So just take your time, clear mind, and just go with what naturally feels right for you. I know when I've been doing spells, it's kind of like I work on like autopilot. I don't know whether it's like a bit of like a trance or anything, but I kind of get myself in such a headspace where nothing can distract me and I'm solely focused on this intention that everything kind of just happens naturally and works out. So key, do not overthink it. You're not doing it wrong. As long as your ingredients match your intentions, you will be fine. This is hand on heart from me to you. You will be fine. Don't worry about it. Okay? Next thing, you When it comes to closing the spell or your spell work, typically it's when, say if you're doing a candle spell, it's when the candle has burned down fully. I know when I've done like a meditative spell and the candle's been burning down, you kind of get that vibe where like, okay, the spell is now complete. You kind of like naturally close it off. So it's just going to be a repetition here, me saying, don't worry about it, it's fine, you have nothing to it, you're not doing it wrong, okay? So just go with the flow, and when you feel like it's finished, just finish, okay? Okay, once your spell has been cast, it is essential to have patience and trust the universe that your manifestation... Okay, once you've done your spell, patience and letting go is key. It is essential to trust that the universe will work to manifest your intentions, and it is also important to let go of your desire to avoid obsessing over the results. So this does not mean completely forget about it. You can do a spell every single day, but once you've done that spell, just be like, okay, I've done it now. Now I get on with the rest of my day. You can still think about it in the back of your head, but as long as it's not taking over your life and you're not sat here, I don't know, rocking back and forth like, I must have this, I must have this, I must have this, you'll be fine. If you're overthinking and obsessing over it, I don't know, it just gives off bad vibes, and the universe will be like, I don't think you're quite ready for this yet. I'm going to make you wait until you like chill out. With spell timings and stuff and manifestations, some things can happen really, really quickly. Other things can take a lot longer. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year, it could be 10 years or whatever. But you have told the universe what you want. And if you're willing to be patient and wait for divine timing, it will come to you. But if you're trying to rush something, it's not going to work out. So you just need to have peace of mind in the fact that you've told the universe what you want, and now it's up to the universe to give it to you when you're ready for it. So if you're still waiting for like 3 months later for your ex to come back and he's still not come back and you're like, why is my spell not working? It will still be working. It's just that you need to focus on yourself and you need to be in a better frame of mind before that person comes back. So in the meantime, concentrate on everything else, get on with your life, and just trust in the universe and in the process that the thing that you want to manifest will come into your life when you need it. So for an example, I have always wanted a Ford Mustang. And let's say I've manifested it. I wouldn't necessarily have done a specific spell to get it. But it's always been on the back of my mind. I've manifested it like inside my head every now and then. And I'd maybe been doing that. When did I first see the first Ford Mustang? It must have been like 4 or 5 years ago. And I always like, oh my gosh, I love this car. But I know I wasn't ready for it. And it wasn't up until last week. I saw an advert and it pretty much fell into my lap. So I currently have a beautiful Ford Mustang lying on my drive, and oh my gosh, it is like my dream car. And the fact that everything kind of like, it just went smooth sailing. So a part of me was like, okay, I found this listing, someone else could buy it or whatever. So I didn't put like a deposit on it. I was like, you know what, if the universe wants me to have this, I will have it. I didn't force it. I kind of just accepted it. If this is the car for me, if this is the right one, it will happen. And it kind of happened. It's still way too big for me to drive, and we won't talk about the fact that I've already scuffed the alloys once by cutting the curb, but I am female and I am going to catch curb, so I need to get that resorted. But I never forced it. I never like, I could have rang the dealer up over and over and over again and kind of like force it to happen. And what's the bet? And then something would have came up with like, no, sorry, you can't have it. Whereas I just let it go with the flow and happen naturally. And now it's sat on my drive. So if you're wanting to manifest something, just tell the universe that you want it and then just let it be. You can still think about it. You don't have to completely forget about it or feel guilty about thinking about it. Just don't force it and go a little bit obsessive over it. And I want to say that's pretty much it with spellcasting. Spellcasting is a deeply personal and spiritual practice. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. And the most important aspect is to work from a place of positive intention and respect for the ethical considerations in your chosen path. It is also a skill that improves with practice, so don't be discouraged if your early attempts aren't as effective as you like, because we've all got to start somewhere. I started somewhere. The first few didn't really go to plan. They ish worked, not really. But as I developed more in my witchcraft path, the better and more successful my spells went. So don't worry about getting it right first time round. Just take your time and enjoy the journey, and you will get there, I promise. And soon enough, you won't even think about twice whether you're doing it right or not, because you know you will be doing it right. Okay. Okay, final little bit before I go. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. I just thought I would let you know about a trip that I have coming up for you guys. I think it's October next year, so there's still plenty of time. It is a trip to Bali where me, you, and whoever fancies joining can come along. It will be a very much a spiritual and healing trip, so I've got loads of exciting things planned, including a tattoo workshop where you will get a tradition. I've always wanted this. Maybe it's another thing with manifesting. I've always liked the idea of going and getting a traditional tattoo where you have, I think it's like I don't want to say stick, but then they have like a needle on the end and it's all like hand poked and everything, and it's all very traditional. And I've always wanted something like that. And then when I managed to start organising this trip, this option came up and I was like, oh my god, yes. So I will be letting you guys know more about this trip to Bali and all the spiritual and witchy things and workshops that we'll be getting up to. I'm hopefully going to put on a workshop for you guys while we're there, whether that's a spell jar, candle one, it's entirely up to you. You guys can let me know what you want. I will let you know more about the trip over the next week or so. Launch date is on the 27th of October, if I remember correctly. But there are payment options. I've purposely picked this trip and organised it so it's not expensive. So you guys can afford it if you needed to or if you wanted to, and there are finance options if needed. So that is exciting, and I would love to meet some of you guys. I have had you on the other end of my phone for about 4 years now, and it would be nice to see some of you in person. So if something like that interests you, either feel free to message me on Instagram at Mystic Primrose to learn more, or just watch the space and wait for me to tell you some more in the next few days or week or so. So other than that, I hope you have an amazing day. If you do have any questions about a spell that you're wanting to cast and you're not too sure on things, feel free to send me a message at Mystic Primrose on TikTok or Instagram, or email me at info@mysticprimrose.com, and I will be more than happy to help. Can't wait to hear from you guys soon. And I'm just rambling now, so I'm going to end the podcast here, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!